Good day, BNCHS Grade 8 learners. This is Arwin Dita Banghay, and welcome to another episode of I am best in the new normal. BNCHS English subject tutorials in the new normal. This is your official online guide throughout this school year 2021-2022. Before we begin our lesson, let's ask first for guidance, wisdom, and blessing from our Almighty Father through this violin and psalm by one of my students. Now, before we formally begin discussing our lesson for today, let's have first this activity called I Saw the Signs. The mechanics of this activity is simple. I will be showing you pieces of signage or reminders, and you tell me in the comment section where do we usually see or find these pieces of signage. I will be giving you 5 seconds in each signage. Game, let's go! So first, photo. Our second photo. Our third. Our fourth. And the last one. I am confident that you have left your comments or answers below, my dear learners. Now, let me show to you our objectives that we need to achieve for this week. As a learner of this module, you are expected to first, identify the illustrations used in an expository text. Second, interpret information using table, graph, and map. Third, create graph and information map. And lastly, explain visual-verbal relationships illustrated in tables, graphs, and information maps found in expository text. Our most essential learning competency for this week is explain visual-verbal relationships illustrated in tables, graphs, and information maps found in expository texts. Let's discuss visual-verbal relationship in expository texts. Let's begin by discussing 4 of the different types of texts. So, narrative texts tell a story. Descriptive texts detail a characteristic features of a thing. Persuasive texts convince. And expository texts put forward an argument or a particular point of view. Let's further discuss our focus text for today by looking at its salient features. Non-fiction texts, meaning to say, these texts give facts and information about a certain topic. The text is fact-based with the purpose of exposing the truth through a reliable source. True and deliberate expository text will focus on educating its readers. Second one, expository texts use different text structures and more complex grammar to get information across the other texts. And lastly, expository or exposition are clear, concise, and organized writing. Expository text gets to the point quickly and efficiently. You might be confused why expository texts are connected with tables, graphs, and information maps for this discussion. To answer that, DIMOC 2005 stated using graphic organizers or diagrams enables students to see the text structure, understand, and remember it better. Let's take a look at these examples. These presented the sales of the Be With Me album of Darren Espanto in two different formats. One was in paragraph form and the other one used shapes. These are linear and non-linear. Linear texts are the so-called traditional texts because these type of texts need to be read from beginning to the end. Generally, texts printed on paper are considered as linear texts. Non-linear text, on the other hand, is the opposite of linear text. You, as the reader, do not have to go through the text in a sequential manner in order to understand the text. This type of text has many reading paths, since it's the readers who decide the sequence of reading, not the author of the text. Let's take a look at the different types that we specifically use to present our data. First, according to your module, there are times that pieces of information are accompanied with tables so that lengthy and wordy presentations can be avoided. Which is true, because it would be easier for you to know what the information is all about, and it will ease the understanding of complicated facts and figures. Tables consist of facts and figures arranged in columns and rows for quick reference. For example, by looking at the table lifted from my undergraduate thesis, we can immediately identify that English was the common language used by MMSU students in their graffiti. Next, graphs and charts. These are visuals that show a relationship between two or more sets of measurements. The most common types of graphs are line graphs and bar graphs, while pie charts are the most common type of chart. First, we have line graph, a type of chart used to visualize the value of something over time. Line graphs are commonly used to show trends. They are easy to read because the reader is able to identify the trend based on the direction of the line. Consists of two axes, the y-axis, which is the horizontal one, and the y-axis, which is the vertical one, graphically denoted as xy. Each axis represents a different data type, and the points at which they intersect is 0. The x-axis is the independent axis, and its value are not dependent on anything measured. For example, this line graph shows the population trend and comparison of the Philippines and the world from 1980 to 2018. The y-axis has the population growth, while the x-axis presents the years. As shown, the population trend went down as years passed by. Easy to determine, right? Next, we have bar graphs. Bar graphs have columns or bars arranged horizontally or vertically in presenting data or information. Usually, they are used to show comparison between two or more variables. They are also used to show the frequency of events in different classes or intervals. For example, this was a Phil Erie test result bar graph representation. The graph differentiated the pre-test and post-test results of the students to identify if there were improvements and if the reading remediation and programs implemented were successful. And as far as the bar graph is concerned, it's definitely a success. Next, we have pie charts. As the term implies, pie charts are visual representations of information on parts or segments as a proportion, percentage, or fraction of the whole. One can clearly see that the visual itself shows who or which segment has the bigger piece of the pie. For example, the pie chart shows the number of nominations that the parents got during the Homeroom Parents Teachers Association election of Grade 8 Diamond. As shown, out of 34 responses, 14.17% went to corpus, and the other colors and percentages represent the values of other parents. Easier, right? Lastly, we have maps, a symbolic representation of selected characteristics of a place, usually drawn on a flat surface of a whole or just a part of an area of the whole. For example, if you want to visit one of the most beautiful beaches in the world in Pagudpud, just key it in on your Google map and drive safely. See you here, learners! To sum up, graphs and tables are graphical representations of data, represented by symbols or legends, and used to ease understanding of large quantities of data and show the relationships of the data. And just like that, we are done with this module. I do hope that you have learned a thing or two from this video lesson. Just remember, understanding pieces of expository information is made easier for you through tables, charts, graphs, and maps. And if you have questions and clarifications, feel free to send me a direct message. Again, this is Arwin D. Tabangay of #IamBestInTheNewNormal, BNCHS English Subject Tutorials in the New Normal. This is your official online guide throughout this school year 2021-2022. So don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this video so that your classmates will be informed too. Keep safe, sweethearts, and have a good day.